he wasn't a candidate for. There's IVC filter they can put,
right?
but patient still show clots and sepsis because the infection is still there onto the filter. So either way, the prognosis wasn't. It's not good, you know.
Well,
But multiple
I
specialists
understand
follow him: infectious disease, the lung doctor, cardiologist. So yesterday they were going to
Hold on.
see if
Hold
he even has
they were going to do an esophageal
right,
cardiogram.
if they were even to see if there is infection that has spread to the valve of the heart that open and close, you know, that was what they were. So I discussed with them about, so when patient have at this crossroad where we know that death is imminent, right? Because there's nothing, none of the treatment we can have. Medical treatment we can
medically, there's studies that have been done, and I do a lot of research. It's
right,
what I do.
right,
There are a study from 2003, 2004
okay,
in Chicago. 7? Okay. In Chicago, at Cook County.
right,
Exactly what's wrong with this man.
okay,
They treated him with only this one type of antibiotic.
okay.
Cleared it up.
Yeah, he for
At a
him,
70 to 80% rate.
he's been actually I'm a mini doctor, and we're hospitalists are rotated off. So he's been here for days now, and the infection is still even it doesn't look like it's healing well still as well. You know. So what
But
I'm saying is,
when was the last time we gave him antibiotics, though?
so he's on hospice right now. Did you explain to your brother what happened yesterday?
Yes and no. He said that he's not sound of mind and he will prove it.
No, it's not him, because if he's not of sound mind, his DPOA, you are his DPOA.
We are.
Because you are his DPOA, you
We.
are the one that can
We
make
are.
him hospice, and you agreed to it
We.
yesterday, right? Here.
But I did say that I needed to talk to my brother first. Did I not? I did.
Wow. So are you saying we should reverse him and put him back?
I'm
The
saying,
reason is for the he
right,
has
right.
multiple-
No.
he's on
I just want to
antibiotics.
understand. I don't.
So
I'm
he's
not
on-
saying that. I want to know what
So he's
options
on-
we have pursued
So
and where we're. And I know he's a difficult person
right,
to deal
so
with.
it's not
enjoyed
about his
Yeah.
person.
And
We don't care about if it's difficult, you know, that's not
Yeah.
what I treat is, you know, I want him to
you
get better.
treat the
Right.
machine.
So, no.
It's an anagram
No,
that I use.
I don't use like, okay, it's not a good patient. No, that shouldn't be a factor.
Right.
There are certain things I
You
don't
look
look
at-
at as a physician. Pay.
Right.
Ability to pay. I just tell them I don't want to hear. You know, those are the social worker things, right?
Right.
That's a hospital billing thing. And number two, I don't want to hear, oh, a patient is difficult behavior. I don't want to, you know,
Right.
that's not my goal. Is to treat people and make them better. So because of all this multiple, and not only that, there's a compliance issue where. So the major factor for wound healing is diabetes.
Right. And I've been
Uncontrolled
explaining that to him,
diabetes,
and
he's been in and out of here
Oh,
multiple times
He's
with high sugar. Even the day he was admitted, sugar was uncontrolled. And the problem is, if the sugar is not controlled,
yeah. Then
the poor wound
throwing all
healing.
that into it
Right.
doesn't
So,
mean
right.
shit. I get
So
that.
the problem is they're going to continue to cut. When I first met him, he had both foot and toes, and eventually,
It's
you know,
slowly,
right, they were
and that's what I was
cutting off
explaining
and
to him
off and
because
off and off.
I had him for 2 months
Right.
up there, and
Right. So
he was getting better, and I knew when he came home that without supervision that he
Yeah.
wasn't going to eat the way he needed to.
right, and
And-
they even tried for him, like, you know, graft. That's the most, you know, that's the highest care level of care where
Right.
the wound is not healing. They will do a graft on it. So
Mhm.
we did that, but it was a graft failure, right?
Right. It did
Because
fail.
of inadequate care, and also because of the sugars were not controlled.
Right. And there was
So this is actually the worst that can happen with uncontrolled infection is that it spreads to the blood. It forms septic emboli, where those little
they're
lines of
little
infection-
pus pockets that go throughout
right,
the
spreads
facility.
to
Yes.
right, they're spread to the lungs.
They go to the
now.
lungs. They can get.
Right,
They can
you
go
know?
wherever, and I
So-
understand that. Yeah.
So what we were doing, it was on IV antibiotic, infectious disease was following him.
Yep.
And then for the blood clot, he was actually on the anticoagulation for it. But yesterday his blood became low.
Mhm.
So it's like a risk benefit. We know that he has to be treated. But unfortunately, his blood is dropping. His blood
Right.
count,
Yeah.
So we're at the crossroads. So patient with
So-
so at this stage he qualifies for, so we have to have end of life discussion, which is what we had.
And I,
So
and
because
I
we-
appreciate that.
Because we're at that point. If we
And-
weren't, then I wouldn't have brought it through, Because
Yeah.
I have taken care of him before where he was able to walk and live out of here.
Right.
Is there a way that we
Unfortunately, we're here with the end of life discussion, and that's what.
is there a way that we could continue the antibiotics and still do that? Where
Well,
he still has a chance, where give it more time?
So the problem is there are multiple infections. So there's infection in the blood, and yesterday they were going to do a TEE. They put a camera, there's the echo, the ultrasound to go look at the vessels.
To look
of
at the around the heart.
Right, to see
Right.
if he's even having bacteria in the vessels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different treatment as well. You
Yeah.
know?
So
So that's those were all those things we were doing. But when patients go on hospice,
Mhm.
that's what hospice is about. It's about end of life.
right, it's
him
making them comfortable till
Right,
they pass.
and then
Yes.
all those
And-
aggressive, what we call aggressive measures,
Mhm.
right? Probing and putting him to sleep, to put a camera and
Mhm.
go look at things where Brittany. The problem is more than an infection, right? It's
Right.
not if it were just one thing, all
Yes.
we needed to treat was just infection. There are multiple things that is in play here. One
Because
is
the infection
right,
is throughout his
right,
body.
spread,
And
and we can't put him on a blood thinner because he has a clot. Because if a blood clot in the lung is not treated, the patient dies.
Right.
Right.
The
So even
embolism
if we give him
continues to bleed
antibiotics and just say, okay, discharge, but we can't put him on a blood clot, the prognosis is still not good. Right? That's what we can't do now. That's the major one that
Is
we
there-
cannot put him on.
I have to before.
Is
Don't
there a
even Nick.
way-
Let me talk for a second.
Yeah, sure.
When I brought him up here, they did. You know what? Did whatever they did.
Right.
They gave him. Did you already mention the pills? No. Him not getting any pain pills. This
Oh,
weekend?
no.
I'm starting at the beginning and going through everything.
Working pills.
They gave him morphine downstairs. They told me at 2 p.m. They drug tested him at 5 p.m.
Right.
And then I called the nurse the next night after they did this, and I asked her why he was so disoriented and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was a real bitch.
Right.
I hate to use that word, but she was saying that he was like that because of whatever he was using outside of the hospital.
Right.
He didn't use nothing outside of the hospital. You guys, they made him fill that drug
Right,
test.
so that one is not even at play. Out of all the list of problems,
Yeah,
that
No,
is
I want to.
what I use, are those things, because I tested him and there was no meth, there was no
Nothing.
cocaine, there was no, we saw opiate, and we know that he got opiate,
Right.
So out of everything, addiction can be treated,
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that's not where we are. Because there are more serious things, like he has a blood clot where we can't treat, that can kill him. He has sepsis, infection to the blood, there are just a lot of things at play.
So his hemoglobin drops, correct?
Right. So
Are
which
there
means we
ways
cannot
to-
continue. We
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, I get that.
Mhm.
Are there ways to treat the hemoglobin
Blood transfusions.
to keep him?
Right,
But that gets way invasive. I'm
well, you
thinking
can't just.
on a high iron diet and things to that degree.
Right.
Would
The
that help?
problem is we can't. It's like knowingly cause patient to lose blood, but we can't continue that clot. That's like knowingly killing them, right? We're gonna give him a pill that's gonna make him lose blood and bleed out, and we just transfuse through it. That's
Yeah, that doesn't.
right.
Yeah, transfusions. That's
So
not
the
what I'm-
blood clot is out of the question. That's what I was trying to explain to you. That anticoagulation will have to be stopped, and when it's not continued, the blood
the
clot
blood
is not
clot
treated.
is not going to move.
Right.
It's not going to pass the system.
So
But
that's
why I'm
where the
asking: are there
crossroads-
ways that we can help his hemoglobin through diet to try
Yeah,
to keep
that
that?
one
or-
we can always give him blood. But that's not the problem.
Oh, but that's the
Right.
only way to treat the hemoglobin would be through blood.
Right, we
Okay.
can give him blood, but
Yeah, but
that's not
that's-
the main problem. Is that he's septic
Mhm.
and he has blood clots in his lung and in his leg that can kill him.
I
Right? That's
I
what
get
we-
that.
But
And-
unfortunately, we're
Why
not
did we
able
just
to
find out
treat
about
it.
this yesterday? When I brought him to the hospital, he was in my backseat screaming bloody murder because his
Right.
chest hurt. Yes, they did the COVID test, but it's still, negative COVID test. He's still screaming in pain of his chest. I haven't heard him complain about this pain one time. It's been his chest this whole time. So why did we wait
So,
till the 5th to do an
he's-
extra or whatever scan?
No,
to
the
find
first
these?
day he came in, I found the blood clot. I was
So
the
why
admitting
did the
doctor.
social worker not tell us this when they were trying to send him
I
home with
was
us
the
on Friday or
admitting
Saturday?
doctor, and all these tests I did,
Mhm.
this is what is found.
Okay.
But over the past few days, where hospitals will rotate, other hospitals are taking care of it. These things were always a problem.
Mhm.
And when I had to go off service, I passed it on to the next hospital. Is that you need to have a goal of care discussion with,
Never did.
Brittany was the one on the chart, and I remember they couldn't get in touch with you.
I talked to that social
But
worker
his sister-
several times.
But his sister-in-law,
Lisa, yes.
was the one that gave us a number and said this
she
is where
went
we can be
MIA
able to.
because she.
Right. So to talk because we knew, but still he ended up getting the blood thinner and
Mhm.
still and which what we expected was going to happened.
Mhm.
So the question is, what do you want us to continue? We know that death is imminent, right? It will do nothing or making so right now we have to talk about the dying process. That's what comfort care is about. We know
Yes.
death is imminent with all the things with the following diagnosis, right? PEs we can't treat,
Well,
anemia.
You're gonna make us rich, Dad.
With no disrespect,
You're gonna
to
make
you,
us rich.
Right.
What would it hurt if I was to take his chart and have another doctor take a look at it for me, just so that it makes me feel sound of mind? I don't see that there's harm in that.
Oh yes, Dad.
Right.
I don't know if it's rich.
I mean, you can.
They're being
also-
printed off downstairs.
And like I said, that's
Right.
intended as no disrespect to you or
That's it.
anybody.
I'm not in charge. Family can request chart records all the time.
They're being
There's
printed
no-
off.
Right.
I'm gonna owe like
Okay.
$100 for them,
And-
but
And like I said,
And you can
there's
do it.
no disrespect.
No
It's
problem.
just that I
Right.
I wish I could find
I
that
like to
sippy cup I
cover
left
all
you.
my bases
That'd be
before I make
sure.
a decision.
So
Yeah,
I don't
but-
like to
I
make a
can't
bunch
even-
of
But
decisions
so
when I
the
know
problem
she's.
we're having now is why you're trying to print and make people look at it is suffering, right?
It'll be within
there's a-
today. I can make a
There is
decision on that.
Your root beer.
so right now he's on comfort care, right?
Right.
Do you want us to reverse the comfort care and continue to treat?
Yes.
Knowing that
I
death
would
is
like
imminent.
for you to continue to treat him.
Mhm.
If his hemoglobin drops out, by all means stop. Because I don't want.
It's dropped. That's why
Yeah.
why I had the conversation
Right.
with her. It dropped.
Okay. So
So we can't treat. We can't put the clot. They would travel and kill him. That's why we did the conversation.
right.
You want me to be on the not
Yeah.
reserve
So
reserve.
because we know that death is imminent, so that's why we're talking about how we die. Without pain, without suffering. That's where the end of life discussion
Right.
came on.
How
Right.
can they try to
So
send him home with us on Saturday without? This was never mentioned to us, and if you knew it since the beginning, we were never told this. They told us to come get him.
No.
Really?
The warfarin's what makes it travel. The blood thinners.
Yeah.
That's what helps work the clot out of his system.
Yeah.
The antibiotic is there to treat it as it's
Infection.
coming through,
Uh-huh.
to make sure that it's killing the bacteria.
Yeah. So there are just a lot of things going
Yeah,
on.
see,
Right.
and that's what I want you to understand. It's not that I'm by any means being
Right.
trying to.
Yeah, it's
It's-
fine. You can get
yeah.
a record, but the problem is, for me, I care about him.
Right,
What am I
right.
doing with him? Why
And like
we're
I
doing
said,
those things?
I could have all that information for you by the end of the day.
Okay.
I mean,
No, but I
I'm
can't
very
just
quick.
live in limbo. Are you wanting me
Oh.
to reverse the comfort care and hospice? Do we
let's
reverse it?
because I don't think he's digressing very quickly right now.
Okay.
Let's
So
let
that's
him.
why he was going to go to nursing home
Right.
and hospice. That was the daughter's decision
Yeah.
yesterday.
Let's leave him where he's at and let me do my research through the rest of the day, and then if I see a positive ending, then
She's saying she wants you to make a decision now.
Well,
Either
I'm not-
she has to have you
Can we
reverse it.
reverse it if we find out?
Okay,
Yes,
sure.
we
Just
want to
have-
Let's
reverse it.
reverse it and then
Yes.
you make a decision.
Yes.
However
I
you put
appreciate
that
that.
on.
Yes,
And then the social worker
what
will
she's
stop
saying.
the referral.
right.
Yes.
They may refer her to nursing home or hospital. They're going to cancel it, right?
I appreciate that.
Just so you know,
Just-
the one referral that we had out has declined.
Oh, really?
So there's one other place we can make a referral to,
Okay.
but it's
You're going to.
possible that we'll decline that also.
And-
One other thing, I
Dad,
don't want to
I'm
do
gonna
with
get all
the
the
Nick,
money.
information.
you need to take him.
So and also you need to talk to him because he's
Got declined for hospice. You
Right.
need to take him.
no, not the time. Yeah.
He got declined to that facility.
Yeah, there's one more that's probably going to decline him too. They just said.
I know, but the only reason why you can leave out of here is basically sign out against medical advice. Because yes, he even pull out all his IVs and right.
I know,
He
he's-
doesn't want
he's-
treatment. So
He's
once a week,
stubborn.
he doesn't want talk to him.
Yeah. No, he knows that
If he's here, we
if he
can't
gets
treat
if
him.
we put the IV back in,
Mhm.
you're gonna leave that IV where they put it. if he takes this IV out, I will leave my number.
Mhm.
Give me a call. You see the way he
You
listens.
treat him like he's a 2-year-old.
Same with the monitors. They're gonna hook back up to you. You leave those on
He
too.
looks at me as
Okay.
I had to take care of my mother at this,
Okay.
in this stage of life.
Okay.
So
So we'll reverse it, and also, I will see if there's a bed in Wichita
Give me
or
this,
something
get
we
water.
can transfer him to as
well,
well.
I mean,
Lincoln?
if
So
you
that
want,
is
if you
sound
want to, if you would
Does that sound good?
Yes.
transfer him,
Oh.
I would prefer that he
For
went to Lincoln,
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
That's where we live.
Yeah.
I mean,
If they can't transfer out of state, Wesley is great. It's a great hospital. That's
but,
where
yeah,
Reagan went.
Wesley. I mean,
Yes.
Excuse me, because if he transferred to another facility, he would have to go by EMS.
okay.
And in order for it to be paid for, it has to be the nearest
Yes.
Okay.
Wesley,
hospital.
we are all
So
for it.
Then it would have to be Wichita.
Mhm.
And even at that, let me tell you something, even at that, they could decline paying for that transfer because we have the doctors here, we have the care here. The only time that they generally pay for transfer is when you're going to another facility because the primary
the care
facility
increases.
does not
Add it to his medical
have
bill.
what is needed.
But
Just
I
add it to
I'll
his
give
bill.
them a call. If they have a bed available, Wesley or St. Francis, that's okay.
For a
Yes.
second opinion, they may not pay for it. Okay?
We
And let me just tell you, if they don't feel like it'll be paid for, they're gonna want that upfront.
Up front. So
EMS.
I guess on my second question on that is, if I was to sign him out against medical and take him myself,
That's up to you.
would that erase this, like them paying for everything? This
I can't tell you that. Because I'm not the insurance.
I have his Medicaid card in his thing in my car. We can research that and see if they're gonna.
Does he have Medicaid?
He has no.
No, he hasn't.
I have to-
Yes,
I filled out.
Medicare.
I filled out
And
the
again,
application last night.
I can't tell you what they will do. And let me be honest with you, you call somebody and that person on the phone is a customer service.
Oh, I was gonna
They're
look it
not-
up.
They're not the ones that are gonna make the decision about
it's the
anything.
executives that are
Right,
upstairs.
right. And so, again, that's up to you folks.
Yeah.
If you wanna sign him out and take him in the car
Mhm.
and take him over to Wichita with a copy of his records, that's
Yeah.
up to you.
Right.
If you want us to try to transfer him by EMS, we can certainly try to do that.
Yeah.
But again, you may have to pay out of pocket for
right.
that EMS
And that's what I'm looking at
transfer.
is, he seems fairly stable at this point.
Right.
For me to transport him myself, put him in his van, lay him down, keep him comfortable, I think that would be a more, if we decided to move him, that would be a more acceptable way to go
Okay,
for him.
okay,
Myself, just
Okay.
because of the cost and then all the loops and hoops you gotta jump through, it just,
right,
so.
right, okay,
And I've got first aid medical background, if something happens to him, I can
okay,
stop, make sure I got CPR in the back.
yeah.
I don't mean to-
Plan, but
I don't mean
I
to sound
just-
so rude, but I was just upset that they came and tried to get him out Saturday and never told us about any of this, any of it. We thought he was gonna be okay. They didn't say a word.
yeah, I would have not left if I'd have known that was going on. But
Okay,
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And it's not you guys. I'm just.
okay, so now let's move forward, and so you think about it, you talk about it, let us know what you wanna do,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
I-
I'm a nurse care manager. I work with the doctor, I work with the social worker, I work with the nurses.
You're the
Yeah.
liaison,
If you-
aren't you?
I'm kind of like a liaison.
Get a hold of me, I can get a hold of Victoria
Yeah.
really quick.
Yeah. Okay?
And
And
then I'll
I'm,
put mine
I'm
up here
usually
too.
down here on the floor anyway. Okay?
I'm gonna go see if his records are done turning. It's gonna cost me quite a bit. $50 at least to have his records. Because it's 7 cents per page, and his first day here is 192 pages.
Did you guys make a decision about?
He said he wants to
It'll be Elle,
look up the.
and she is at,
He's my big brother. I'm way too attached mentally
Let's
to my dad.
let's stay there so we
Talk
can
to
all
him.
have a, they're saying you two are the two.
Yes.
So you two have to have people for every conversation.
I'm gonna go downstairs and get his medical records, but they're already printing off.
Because you said that, I never discussed it with him when I only had the CPOA.
You want us? I have to do it quick.
That way I'll know everything and understand
He
everything.
said he wants to look at the medical records first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm supposed to
That-
do right now.
That way,
But I just have